Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Alright, welcome in. It is Woodward Nights, baby, with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in to the Woodward Sports Network, locking us in. I apologize if that hurt your ears. I'm pumped tonight. I don't know what it is.
Don't apologize for positive energy, Boone. I love it.
I'm feeling like Booner tonight. Feeling like Booner tonight. Having a great day here. I've got my notes, the prep. We've got a packed show. My name is Booner, as always. We've got Matthew Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter. I want to rip that shirt off of him. I'm not gonna lie. I know it's Ben Wallace.
I'm doubling down. Double down on my support of my Pistons.
We've got Jalen in the TD booth. Jalen, what's up? How you feeling today?
I'm doing good. A lot better than last night.
That was bad.
I'm doing better, man.
Yesterday was bad. We've got Nick in the sound booth.
Let's go. We are back. Ann Arbor was crazy Saturday. Still hyped up about the game and not hyped up about those Pistons. I was in attendance last night. It was as brutal as it looked on TV. This team needs to wake the hell up ASAP.
And we've got the morning show, man. Lucas Klotzy.
Oh, he's barking. Oh, he's the dog pound.
Lifted at Planet Fitness. Shout out.
Shout out Planet Fitness.
Shout out Long Drink to cap off the workout.
Look at him. Just a company guy with all the sponsors here.
What a
How
stud.
about that? We do have some. We're not going to break. Actually, I've decided we're not breaking the Lucas breaking news tonight.
Okay.
We are. If you guys want, tune into the morning show tomorrow morning.
Yes.
That will be. There is going to major breaking news. Actually, this isn't like a joke. Like, you know how the heavies will always be like, oh, we'll do this and that. Oh, breaking news, and they're like, oh, shut the mics off, and they don't say anything. This is legit breaking news. You guys have to tune in to the morning show tomorrow. I'm sorry. Lucas made me put it in the chat to say there's some breaking news.
I didn't make you. You asked me, and I said
sure. You said
Literally
sure.
right before we go on air, he goes, "Hey, can I just tease it in the chat? Like, can I just
yeah, like sure."
But if we
It's actually
do
a good
get
idea, though,
200
because
likes,
it's big news that
If we get
I hope they
500
tune in
likes,
for.
we will do the breaking news on the show.
Oh.
In our heavyweights bag now, baby. Hey, all right, we've got a packed show. A lot of things have happened over the last, since we've got off the air last time, whether it's Pistons. I put a tweet out. We could start with this with the Pistons real quick.
Yeah, do it.
I know we had Patrick Kane. We're going to talk about that. I put a tweet out, and Jay, if you want to throw this tweet about Tom Gores, I didn't think this tweet was going to go as crazy as it did, and it blew up. It had 50,000 plus views on it.
What was it?
Right here. It says, so I tweeted out, I said, remember when Sheila Hamp personally spoke to the media and the fans after the Detroit Lions started 1-5 last season? And right now, the Detroit Pistons, they are currently on a 14-game losing streak, and they have a 2-15 record, and we haven't heard a thing. We haven't heard a word from the Detroit Pistons owner, Tom Gores. This is a disaster. It's a terrible situation going on. I think this is a problem that your owner,
Mark Cuban, just sold the Mavericks.
and Mark Cuban did just show a majority of his shares to the Mavericks, which, to me, I'm not going to lie, I was driving in and I got that alert. My heart dropped. I cannot imagine the NBA without Mark Cuban. He has been, my whole life, a huge piece.
Bring him home.
Bring Mark Cuban to Detroit!
Cubes to Detroit?
Come on. But no, seriously, that tweet, if you guys go look at the comments, are brutal. Pistons fans are not happy right now. Very, very understandable, too.
As they should be.
You should be mad about what's going on. The situation is brutal for the like Spenny said, this is the worst organization at the moment in all of sports.
And it's almost like, not to cut you off, but it doesn't make sense. Like, how they're this bad. Like, you look around the roster, it's like, I'm not saying this is like a team that should be in the playoffs, but Asar Thompson, very talented rookie. Jalen Duren, very talented second-year player. Cade Cunningham, very talented player. Jaden Ivey, very talented player. Isaiah Stewart, very solid player.
Great coach.
Like, how do these guys only have 2 wins?
They have the pieces. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. I think, to me, what it comes down to is there's been a common denominator for the last 10 years, 11 years, and it's been the winning culture. Like, there has been no culture. And I'm not saying, like, a bad, like, workplace culture. I'm saying, like, a culture within the organization. Like, when you work somewhere and there's a good winning culture, you're going to be great. Like, Mark Cuban brought that to the Mavs, and they won a ton. Whether they were winning at one championship or they were just going to the conference finals every year, it felt like they just had a great culture. It feels like from the top down, there's no culture. It's like Sheila. Look when Sheila took over. She single-handedly flipped that team. Brought Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell in. Culture change. They start winning football games, and everything feels like it was different.
And everyone's seen her and heard her.
Yeah.
Just like your tweet said. She came out and she talked. She addressed it. She said, hey, stick with us. Stick with Dan Campbell and this 1-5 team. One loss after that, they ended up turning it around.
Real quick, too, it says Logan Strutzman in the Woodward Sports YouTube chat. He said Mark Cuban sold $3.5 billion of the Mavs. He still has full operational control of the team, so he's not going anywhere.
Must be nice.
That's great. He probably just needed to cut some money to buy a different business. That's my guess.
Can you imagine selling enough of a business to make $3.5 billion and still being the majority shareholder?
Maybe he might end up getting it back, I bet, at some point. He might have just needed to go, hey, I need to go get this business real quick.
It's a loan within a loan.
Watch him buy, like, Twitter or something from Elon.
Rename it Mavs.
No, but I think that was the craziest. There's something about these Pistons.
Thank you, Peaceful Tim.
I think we should just move on from the Pistons. Broder, I had my Pistons hat. Decided not to do it. We do have a punishment for Nick within this week sometime.
Oh, yeah. He jinxed the fuck out of that game.
He jinxed it on top of the Pistons were suspended on the show.
Yeah.
And
it was double down.
The only way that they were unsuspended was a win, and you came out before the win and jinxed. That was an all-time bad mistake.
The Pistons blew a lead on November 1st with the Portland Trail Blazers. They were up like 20 points. Portland came back since then. 13 straight losses, 14 in total. The Pistons are dead. I am 100% okay.
Jacket.
I am okay with blocking out the Pistons from the show.
You should burn your season ticket holder jacket.
Jalen, how mad are you?
Pretty cold.
Me? How mad am I?
Yeah.
You see my Twitter. I was I was arguing with uncles, grandparents, pets. Whatever you can, I didn't care, bro. I was just so fed up. There's a couple tweets in there that I had that I was a believer at one point, but like it didn't come full circle. So I let loose last night. But it's okay though. I didn't get banned, so I'm doing good.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that this is just a
turnaround incoming.
Okay, I've heard that for 12 years. I don't know what's incoming.
I mean, this is probably the bottom that it's ever been.
It has to.
Like,
be.
it can't get any worse.
Sports. Yeah, that's true.
It can't.
I mean, you think that, but then they lose. They end up losing the next 12 games again.
It's too bad. It's such a good basketball town. Like, when the Pistons are good, this place is legit. Just like
rowdy.
You could almost say it about all four Detroit sports teams since they've all been
That's
bad
what I was gonna say.
in recent memory, but I don't know. Maybe it's the unknown of the Pistons being down in Detroit now. It's like it seems like the perfect time for this all to come together, and it just hasn't yet.
It makes things worse, and this is going to lead us to this next thing here. It makes things worse that the Tigers, the Red Wings, and the Lions, they all have competent front offices now, and like they're all starting to take a turn and starting to actually start winning. Like I know the Tigers haven't really yet, but
they've proven
they're going to be probably the favorite for the division next year.
Yeah,
and they're trying to do
Lions
things.
Are
new GM. New president of baseball operations.
And the Pistons have not taken one step forward.
Yeah.
They have gone backwards and backwards and backwards. When you're like when they come out and they're like, we're going forward. And then they take 50 steps backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, at some point, something. Imagine if I'm on a show here and like our viewership and everything just starts going like from like back and back and back, and we come out, we go to like our boss, and we're like, no, we're gonna get better, and then it's like worse. It's like, okay, you're done, cut off, boom.
And Monty
boom,
Williams last night validated it's a surprise to him. He was upset in his press conference. He was animated. That shows he expects more out of this team. So something's wrong. Something's going on.
Maybe it's not him though.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I don't blame Monty at all.
Like you were saying, Booner, there's no culture. You know, you can't, especially in the first quarter part of the season, you can't expect a coach to turn that around individually by himself.
Especially within 15 games.
It starts with ownership, bro. And everything starts with ownership.
Monty's done it with Phoenix. That's the thing why I almost put Monty off to the side a little bit. And I know there's things like Bagley not playing yesterday. Like there's things where it's like, what are we doing? But Monty has proven he could do this.
Wasn't he in New Orleans before?
He was actually. Yes. Yeah. So he's proven he can coach in the NBA. He took a team that was the worst in the NBA to the NBA Finals within a couple years. He knows. So I'm taking Monty off. I'm going, Tom Gores, you haven't won anything in your life in the NBA. Troy Weaver, have you? Like, what are we doing? At some point, What are we doing?
Yeah.
I think it's more so with Monty, like, he needs to find his 8 or 9 guys, right? We got 12 or 14 young guys on the team. Find your 8 or 9, play them. Nobody else will be playing in the season under that. Just find your 8 or 9 guys, will be good to go. But you can't blame him yet, though. Like, it's young. The Suns team that he took to the finals wasn't his best team he had.
No, he started with those guys as young as well.
Or stuff like that, so I'm not worried about him. It's everybody but him. It's front office, things like that, and culture. It's nobody has no aura around the Pistons right now to me, to be honest. What do you think, Broder?
No, yeah, I agree. The hard thing to watch about last night is against the Wizards. Yeah, they're the other worst team in the NBA, but all you had to do was have effort and go out there with an. You don't even need
Kyle Kuzma, bro.
Yeah, like they're the worst, one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA, and I think they tied the Pistons in the game last night. It was a game you should just win with effort. Like they clearly have the better players. It's sad to see it. Like that's one of those games, talent for like you just expect them to have more effort than the Washington Wizards, led by former Michigan Wolverine, go Blue, Jordan Poole, who's kind of a trash teamate.
Do you think they're tanking again?
Dude, I don't know. You know what?
The amount of like, and I don't want to like call it like give anybody out, but like they can't be this injured. And not be willing to play.
A healthy scratch of Marvin Bagley last night.
That was because they wanted to see what's his name can do.
But even
with these
bro, like
sounds like
Bogey,
why are we at this point to where you're doing that 15 games in when you're on a 13
Bogey,
game
I
losing
guarantee
streak?
is ready to play. Isaiah Livers, they took a shit ton of time with when it's like, and I'm not saying like he's not important, but it's like, why are we making sure that Isaiah Livers is this like if he can play, put that fucker in there. You know what I mean? And just even with Monte Morris, like.
Why don't we just
try really this
basketball games instead of trying different lineups out?
Yeah, which is put your best offensive big man in there against the worst defensive
and it's everyone
big man team.
And that's where the Monty thing. It's like, what are we doing, Monty? Like,
what are we doing?
So I don't know. Hey, let's real quick. Let's talk about the Red Wings. Red Wings to me were already a playoff team, and they added a guy that I think we all know, one of the greatest hockey players I think you could say of all time, one of the all-time greats, Patrick Kane. Who's the first ballot Hall of Famer. I truly think this is a huge move for the Detroit Red Wings. When you look at this signing, Broder, and I know a lot of people, like Jalen asked before, like what's a good comparison of a different sport of a guy like this guy coming and signing with the Red Wings?
I like this exercise.
Think about this real quick. I want to put this into a perspective for all of you guys.
Yeah, tease me.
Last year, the Detroit Red Wings, their leading points player was Dylan Larkin with 79. Second was David Perron with 56. Patrick Kane last year, at the age he's at, he had a total of 57 points last season. 57 points. He last year would have been your second on your team in points. So you're adding in a legit player who's not only going to be. He's not going to be just sitting there as a role player that's not going to do much. He's going to make an impact. And I understand he's coming off a back injury, a surgery, all of that. Or hip, is it?
Yeah.
So he's coming off a little major surgery. I still think a guy like him, he's still going to produce. He did mention as well, this is what really made me excited. And I'm like, I love a veteran like this. A guy like Patrick Kane, you expect him to be like, hey, I want to be on the power play 1. I want to be on the first line. Like, I want to do this. He told teams, he said, hey, I don't want to be on the first line. I don't care about the first power play. I want to go out there and earn that from someone. And I want to, if I come to Detroit, I want to earn it. I don't want to take someone's spot just because I'm Patrick Kane. I want to earn that spot, which that, to me, makes me know that he's going to come out and compete at the highest level. And I'm pumped to have that man on there. I think this makes the Detroit Red Wings a little bit more scary when it comes to the postseason.
You can already tell he's a good leader. He's played with the Brinket before, and he's coming in with the right attitude. He's not trying to be the star of this team anymore. I don't see any risk to it. It was a nice little contract, 1 year. There's no downside. They know everything going in. All he can do is elevate this team, and if not, you move on from him. I'd prefer, before I talk too much, I want to hear from Nick on the topic with that Red Wings jersey on.
Yeah, I had to pull it out for this big news today. I had to shout out the Red Wings for making a move early in the season to go get one of the greatest U.S.-born players of all time in Patrick Kane. Just 2 years ago, he had 92 points. This guy has elite experience that he's going to bring to a playoff push and to even make more noise in the playoffs. He's going to be big on the power play.
No, never mind. Keep going.
You're good.
What?
No, keep going.
No, he's going to be big on the power play, and we all know that he has that chemistry with the Brinket already. I think that's a big reason why he came. and I think it's just going to pull out the best in both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a huge sign for the Red Wings. We're going to get into that, I think, more as the Wings keep going. They're on right now, what, a 3-game win streak? They play tomorrow, correct? Does anyone know?
I believe so.
They play the Rangers tomorrow. Tough game.
And no Larkin, I believe, as well. So I don't know when Patrick Kane will be able to play. I don't know when he's ready to go. I'm just excited that they're making moves. This is where Troy Weaver should be at right now. Sorry, I keep going back to the Pistons. I don't need to be doing that. Let's go to break. When we come back, we're going to get into some Detroit Lions. A couple injuries to talk about here. Confidence level heading into New Orleans. We still have Lucas here in the chair to kind of speak about this New Orleans game as well. And then as we go through the day here, 8:30, we're going to break down the rest of the Lions schedule. 8:45, we're going to talk about the linebacker room. I texted you last night, Broder. I was like, I want to talk about these guys. 9 o'clock, me and Broder are going to give you guys our all-pro Detroit Lions players. 9:15, our power rankings, and then we're going to keep the ball rolling from there. But, Nick, tell us about Big Boy.
Yes, sir. Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack or Santa Fe Garden. Also, new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like a landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk about it. Outdoor Equipment Company. That is right. The official equipment provider of the Woodward Sports Network. It is Michigan grown, family owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Broder. They have it all. They have Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. Broder, they have it all. Come on. You can buy it. You can rent it. 0% financing, delivery right to your doorstep. If you guys want to go check it out, look it. Make sure you guys go buy a tractor over there at OutdoorEquipCo.com. And welcome back, Woodward Nights, baby, with Booner and Broder. We've got a full crew, full room here today.
Shout out,
on
Mom.
the Woodward Sports Network. Shout out to Broder's mom.
Let's go, Mom.
Locked into the show
Oh, an
today.
official member. Shout out, Mom.
I like that. Is it Merrill?
Merrily.
Merrily,
Like
okay.
row your boat.
Oh, Merrily. Okay,
Yeah.
Merrily Broder. Shout out Merrily Broder.
Pretty name.
Mama Broder. I love it. Hey, if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. So as you guys get in here, let's get up over 50 likes before the end of this segment. Let's talk about this, though. The Detroit Lions, obviously coming off a pretty brutal loss.
Tough one to the
versus
back.
the Packers.
Tough one.
Yeah, but as we get going, I'm pretty confident, and we have a segment today, Broder, that is breaking down the schedule and where we think that they might land here with the rest of the schedule. I think they get off here to a hot start in this last 6 games to this New Orleans team.
Yes.
Obviously, you have some injuries here, and we're going to dive into that. First off, on the Detroit Lions, we know Alex Anzalone most likely out for a little bit of a time. Secondly, Jonah Jackson, again, most likely, from what I'm hearing, sounds like probably out again.
We'll learn more tomorrow when they practice again, but Dan Campbell didn't seem too optimistic in his press conference yesterday. He's like, he's just assuming Jonah Jackson's still going to be out until Jonah Jackson tells him otherwise.
Yeah.
It was a very
What is the injury
odd.
to?
Wrist.
Can we just talk about this Jonah Jackson being out real quick? Of
course.
Because there has been multiple offensive linemen that have been out throughout the season. And Jonah Jackson, that was his first missed game, correct?
He missed one early.
No, he missed multiple weeks.
Early on,
yeah.
Did it not feel like, though?
Against the Raiders game, he was out too.
Okay. It felt like to me this Packers game with him out, and I could be completely wrong on this, with him out on Thursday, that left side of the line just did not look like. I don't know. They
weren't stopping a soul regardless.
I don't know if Taylor just didn't feel comfortable there with Colby and Osada or whatever his name was. Yodi. I just don't know if he felt comfortable. But to me, as you get farther into the season, especially when you're like, what's the Lions' strength? Their offense. They're a top 5 offense. Maybe even when they're at their best, they're the best offense in the NFL. What's their whole offense based on? Their offensive line. When you have a guy like Jonah Jackson out and things just like, yes, we've had injuries all year, and they've been able to account for them. Like Graham Glasgow's killed it. But I think when Jonah was out, and maybe Graham went over there too. I don't think Colby. It was like a guy where Colby was going in there.
That was the one difference.
You also had
Colby started against the Raiders though.
But he started at right guard. Graham went and started at left guard. That's the thing that was different.
It feels like that.
Different, but
that
even
scenario
Panay
last week
struggling.
was bad.
Even Panay was struggling though. At that whole offensive line, Graham Glasgow played his by far worst game of the year. Like the Lions just offensively, defensively, they started out slow, and it took a while for them to wake up in the game. And when they did, it was too late. As a whole unit, like you can say that, you can say about the offensive line, you can say that about Jared Goff, you can say that about everybody except Amon-Ra.
If you go back and watch the game, it felt like anytime pressure got to Jared Goff, it came from the left side. It was every time. And I know it's like, okay, maybe not the right because Panay Sewell, but it was like every single time I watched the pressure on Jared Goff, and in the chat, you guys can go watch this. It felt like it was coming from Taylor or
up the middle
Colby,
too.
And it was brutal. Graham got. It was brutal. I think that's a huge piece.
It makes me think a lot. It makes me think a lot about the Lions' defensive pass rush because it's like, how are they not finding the 1 weak link on their opposing team? Like each team has as good as the Lions' offensive line are. There's still a hole, whether it's due to injury or you target. It's crazy to say that Graham's the worst offensive lineman when they're all healthy.
Eduardo in the chat, he said we need to put Skipper back on guard. I never want to see.
He was one of their highest graded players last year, but Skipper's no guard, bro.
Yeah, I don't think
he's
so.
the biggest human being ever.
No guard. But even like last year, as far as Broder's point, the defensive line, like this is pretty much the same defensive line that was there last year. And they were producing last year.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Do you know actually when before Jonah Jackson was out, you know who they actually had, who I think stepped up a little bit, who's on the IR now?
Big V?
Matt Nelson.
Yeah, that is one. Yeah, it's a veteran.
But he filled in last year as well when things went down. You're now instead of going from Matt Nelson to a 5th or 6th round pick.
I just remember Matt Nelson in preseason, bro.
And I'm with you, but you remember when he stepped in after preseason, we were all going at him, and then he was one of the higher graded PFF guys for the offensive line after the first couple weeks, and we were all like, oh no, and then he got hurt, put on the IR. I'm not saying he was the end all be all, but you're taking Colby or Matt Nelson. Who's going to play better? Experience or
I think it's about honestly when I look at it, I think they're about the same. And if Colby,
too many long drinks.
I've had 3/4 of one. But let's think realistically about this. Matt Nelson. I can't remember his draft position. It was probably like a 5th round pick. Colby, same thing. You're just getting experience for Colby at that point. It's a draw.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something with me with this Jonah Jackson injury. I think if he doesn't come back in the next couple of weeks, I expect the Lions, and I keep saying this, and we're going to talk about the confidence of this game. I expect the Lions. We've seen Dan Campbell get in these little ruts. This rut, obviously, you're coming out 3-1. I expect the Lions to turn it around. Dan's never shown you he can't turn it around. I'm expecting him to do that, and I think it's harder to do that when you don't have guys and you have a guy like Jonah Jackson out, especially after the biggest worry the last 2 weeks was the pressure to Goff and those turnovers. And if you don't have a full offensive line, it's hard to try and take that next step to get more confidence in your quarterback.
You need your quarterback to do it.
You do, and it's hard for you to do that. I want to ask you though, Broder, confidence level. Out of 10, where are you at with the Saints game? I wrote mine down. I got my number here. I'm not changing it. Hands up. I want to hear your confidence level.
I'm probably at the 8. I think they're going to come ready to play. The reason it's not higher is because the last 2 games were. They look bad. I do view them as outliers, as that's the worst that they can play. but there's always the chance that they lay another egg. I just think because it's literally specifically because it's New Orleans, as difficult it is to play in the Superdome, Dan Campbell and that staff that's got some experience with New Orleans, even a lot of the players. Alex Anzalone was one of them.
I wrote that in my notes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sure Angelo would love to have played on Sunday.
Dan Campbell loves New Orleans, and he doesn't want to go down there and lose. Especially since Sean Payton's not the coach on the other side.
Right.
That's another storyline coming up, Dan Campbell versus Sean Payton. But they're going to have them. He and Aaron Glenn are going to have them ready to go in New Orleans.
I had 8 out of 10 on mine as well.
Nice.
I think I'm just going to keep going back to this. It's when you go on a bad stretch like this, like Dan Campbell, since he's been the coach of the Detroit Lions, every time things have gone really bad in a good stretch, and he comes out with these press conferences like, we need to reassess, we need to figure something out. He has been called on, and he has produced, and that's where I think this right now. And I know like it sucks. Like this 3-game stretch was like for us, especially after you're like 8-2, you're like, let's go. I know it sucks, and it's probably like Booner, stop trying to give us positive light. But I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
There's 6 games ahead that are all winnable games in my opinion, and Dan Campbell has turned things around every time that the tables have been turned. I think he does the same thing here, and I think this is a time where they go on a 6-game stretch. We're going to talk about it. I'm not going to give it away because we have a schedule set.
Give it away
but
now.
I think Dan knows he knows what he's doing, and I think going into this week, you're going to see a pretty good, a different Detroit Lions team.
I got 5 messages in a row that I have to read off from 3 different people. 4 different people. IT Hips. They have no excuses not to beat the Saints. They need to get the ground game going. Wow, say that a couple times fast. They need to get the ground game going and get a lead early. They play great with the lead. Agreed. Saints are extremely weak in the run game. Atlanta was able to rush for over 230 yards on them. That was Steve Lehman. Eduardo O'Neill, no excuses. Then the last one, Peaceful Tim. Monty versus Jamal week. Ooh. Jamal Williams versus David Montgomery.
What has he done? I don't think he's done much.
He's been hurt a couple games.
And the Saints, man, they're banged up.
Yeah, they are.
Their whole Crystal Olave, Rashid, Michael Thomas on IR. Marcus Lattimore's hurt right now.
Cam Jordan's questionable right now.
Oh, wow.
They have a lot. If you go on their depth chart, a lot of red.
They get takeaways, and they can get to the quarterback.
You can say what you want about the Saints' defense, though. They have dudes. They have playmakers. Even, like, I know Marshawn Lattimore's most likely going to be out, but Paulson Adebo for them, the cornerback, I believe it's his second year. That dude's having a season. Marcus May's a solid safety. Tyrann Mathieu, we all know what he is. Demario Davis, you know what he is. On the interior, Sheldon Rankin's very solid. Like, they have guys.
Hey,
they have guys still.
Jamal, averaging a full 2.9 yards per carry.
Their offensive line is mid as fuck.
Cut in half from when he was in Detroit. Cut in half. And that was that argument before the year with Flannel Sam that we all had. Was Jamal compared to David Montgomery. Jamal clearly benefited off of the best offensive. Like, he 500 yards, 400, 400, 500, 600, and then with the Detroit Lions, he doubled his yards of his career high. And if you add up all his touchdowns in his career, he probably still doesn't have as much as he did in 1 year with Detroit.
He does not.
So, like,
there's not a chance.
That's not a worry. The only worries to me, to be honest, is Alvin Kamara.
No, stud.
Especially with Anzo out. But that's where having a guy like Brian Branch, and as much as he's kind of not struggled but been kind of inconsistent, Jack Campbell is athletic and as much ground as he can cover. When you have Brian Branch and him, and then you have Tracy behind him, they'll have ways to kind of neutralize
Can we all agree this defense versus Saints, this is and I know we keep talking about the personnel to the schemes. This is one where all these guys are out. Their top 3 receivers potentially could be out. I would love to see the Detroit Lions hold them under 10 points. And I know that's a crazy number. I would love to see Aaron Glenn put a scheme together to dominate their offense. Don't give Derek Carr anything. So all you have to worry about is Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better add in Taysom Hill.
All you have to worry about is those 2 guys on Sunday.
Taysom Hill's going to annoy us.
He will, but
it's going to be like 3rd and 3, Taysom Hill off the right guard for 4 yards.
If they have no weapons, those are 2. You
bring him home.
Aaron Glenn. Those are the 2 guys. Dial it in. You bet. Like, this defense better have a day Sunday. That's all I'm saying. Because if they don't, I don't care about personnel. When all of their personnel's out, at this point, it comes down to scheme. Aaron Glenn will have no excuse if the New Orleans Saints
against his former team too.
Yes, and if they score 20 plus, and people sit up here and try and say defend the Glenn, we're gonna have a real conversation. And I have not been to fire AG guy ever, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna get to that, but. Broder, they better get some stops on Sunday.
They better. If you have a top run defense, which they do, this is a game. If they're missing all their wide receivers, if you can shut down Kamara, shut down that run, it should be a long day for Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, whoever is back there.
Hey, Detroit Dabber said, I would love to see Glenn put a scheme together in general.
Yeah.
Fair shot.
Hey,
Gave up a lot of points.
If Juwan Johnson shreds us.
Athlete.
Hey,
he is, but that'll be.
We've talked about him for fantasy.
I like Juwan Johnson. Like, don't get me
year.
wrong, but he's going to be their top receiving threat if Olave's out.
Yeah, that's wild to me. All right, let's hit break. When we come back, we're going to dive in here to the Lions. We're going to do this Lions schedule, the breakdown of it. 6 games remaining. Kind of go where we think the records are going to go. I have something I think that's going to shock you, Broder.
Yeah, what is it?
Are you all right?
I'm great. No, I'm good.
Admiring the James. Bro, they're looking bad as fuck today.
No.
All right, I'm going to tell you guys about the Lions postgame, and then Broder, I'll hit you over there with Mark White. But make sure you guys tune in to the Woodward Sports Lions postgame show directly after every Lions game, hosted by Maz, Stick. They always have different special guests tuning in. They have former Lions that call into the show. They do call-ins to the show. Make sure you guys don't miss out on that directly after every single Lions game on the Woodward Sports YouTube network.
Exactly. And then when you're buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. So sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement for any time, at any time, for any reason with no penalty? That's exactly what you can do with the Mark White & Associates minute-by-minute listing agreement. So visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Just in time for football. Glorious! Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check them out online at www.gloriouscanada.com.
It's glorious, baby! Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Listen, Broder,
Boone.
Lions might win out.
They might.
They might win out.
Everyone's picking them to go like 3-3.
I got some stats. I've got things here. Before we talk about this, real quick, if you guys can, if you think, hit the like button for us, please. Hit that. Let's get over 50 here.
Please.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to do a poll.
What are you going to do?
All right.
Let's surprise
let me
say your spiel and
let me break this down for you guys real
surprise
quick.
This.
Winning out maybe is a little...
That's unfair. That's unfair.
It's very unfair because this is what and Broder, me and you have done schedules before on the show, and I have not like got mad at you, but I'm like, remember when the one time you were like, win, I don't see a loss, and I'm like, there has to be a loss somewhere. And as I'm going through these last 6 games, I'm like, all right, I got to find a loss. Which is the loss? I don't know, but I truly believe, and I've been the one. And Lucas, if you watch the show, you've been on the show sometimes, and you can ask Broder. I have been the one on the show that has says there's going to be a loss. There are going to be losses. I think, and I'm going to be dead serious here because I've been the only one not the only one, but I've been one of the ones that have been very, very passionate that the Lions will lose games and they're not going to go undefeated. I think in this last 6-game stretch, the Lions go 5-1.
I like that.
They could. I think they go 4-2. So I'm not.
4-2 is great. I think that's worst case scenario. I think, like, I've been preaching this, fellas. I've been preaching. I think Dan Campbell knows how to turn a team around when they're down. He lives to be underground. He lives to be one of those dudes that are underdogs. That's what he lives for. That is what grit is about. I think right now, the last 4 games, that has been all this Lions team has been. The next 6 games is when he flips his script. If you guys watch the press conference Monday, he legit, like, I could see it. Like, he was like, I'm like, no, we're turning this. I love being in this position. I think if you've seen every loss, what follows after every Lions loss this year? 3 to 4 wins.
They respond.
I think right now they're going to go on another 3-4 game win streak. They might drop one in here, and we're going to go game by game. They might drop one to Minnesota, I think, in those 2 games. You might see them drop a game. But I think once they drop it again, that's when they go on another streak. And that's where I'm at. I think 5-1 to end the season, as crazy and slappy as it sounds, I think if you're a football fan, you know that can be done from the Lions.
So we're saying we want them to lose to the Broncos so then they win out the next 3.
No, not the Broncos.
No, not the Broncos.
Not the fucking
win
Broncos.
The next 3.
Win 2 or lose 2 on the road.
Yeah, I think it's a
you
road
can't
loss.
lose again at Ford
It's
Field.
a road loss for sure. Jalen, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I think we go 4-2.
The
chat's real, like, iffy right now with this poll. But I think we lose to the Broncos. I don't know. They're hot right now. Russell Wilson's balling. I don't know what it's just us losing to them will make a little bit of sense because of what they're doing over there in Denver. And I don't think that we can beat the Cowboys.
That's where I disagree. I think this is a
right
team
now, I
to
just
where
don't.
that is your playoff game of the season.
I just don't, bro.
Like, that's a playoff game of the season that's going to be your test. I think the Lions come out of that one. They've lost in Dallas a couple times.
Let's be real here. And I'm not saying it's
He's everywhere.
or anything. Yeah, I'm everywhere.
Jumping.
But on the road against Dallas, Booner, if we're being real right now, can you admit that the Cowboys on both sides of the ball, you could argue offensively just because of who Dallas has played recently?
They're playing their best football.
Yeah. Do you think that the Cowboys, you could say, are better on both sides of the ball right now than the Lions?
Yeah, I think as a team they're better right now.
And then they're going to be at home. I would much rather lose to Dallas in Week 17 than go, and they might even play them in the playoffs.
Can I break you guys down
It'd be a big game for them too.
I wouldn't even be mad if they lose to Dallas.
So this is what it comes down to. That is going to be not a seeding game because Dallas won't win the division, but that's going to be for the Lions of seeding. This is what I have. I'm going to go down through my schedule here. And then, Broder, I'll let you kind of go through yours, and you can give your record to end.
Okay.
I think on the Saints this Sunday, that's a win.
Dubs.
That's a win.
Yeah.
I think Bears away. We saw the Bears yesterday. I know that could be a game.
That's
Lucas has given me that look.
Yeah.
Lucas has told me that since the schedule got released in March. He's like, look at that Bears road game. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that forever. They beat the Bears on the road because this is that thing where they flip and turn things around. They start winning games again. And they look like the Lions from earlier. Then I think they come back home. They don't lose at home again.
No.
They beat the Denver Broncos. And it might be a close game, a good game, but they dominate them at home. The crowd, Monday Night Football, correct? Oh, no, it's going to be they said it might be a Saturday night game. Yeah, so it's going to be a flex Saturday.
Super Saiyan level 3.
This is where I think the loss comes.
Against the Vikings.
I think after a 3-game win streak, they get a little hot on their horse, and they go to Minnesota. We know how tough Minnesota is to play. I know the Bears just won in Minnesota. I think this is where you see them drop one. And then I think after a loss, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, let's learn, fix these mistakes, go to Dallas, let's get a bounce-back win before the playoffs, and then let's go back home, let's get a win in Minnesota, and then we're in the playoffs sitting there with either a 2 or a 3 seed, and you're on your way, and you're hosting a playoff game, and you win that playoff game.
Yeah.
That's where I look at this.
I love it.
And you lose to Minnesota, one of those Minnesota games.
Did you intentionally say hot on the what was the phrase you used? Hot on the horse? Hot on the horse?
Hot on the whore?
I don't know what I said.
It was something. It was right after the Broncos game. Anyways, clever.
Thank you.
I'm actually, if Lucas said that Chicago game, that's the one I've been thinking about too. It's a divisional game. Chicago looks better than we thought they were. They're not a good team, but they've, like we said, they got pieces. They almost beat the Lions at home. I mean, I'm playing in Chicago. That's our only non-dome game for the rest of the season, and I'm not going to pick a home game loss. So I'm thinking they're beating the Denver Broncos, they're beating the Vikings at home. So my gut is telling me that they go 4-2, which I'd be happy with. So I'm just trying to decide: is it away at Minnesota, or is it away at Dallas? I mean, if it were today, this moment, seeing Dallas's team today or this weekend,
Dallas.
I'd say that's the tougher
And
one.
I agree with you guys that we're Dallas. Like, obviously, like Lucas said, like Dallas is a better team. They're playing their best football right now. But to me, it's the Lions. That is their test of the season.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose.
That's your biggest game of the year of the regular season to me. I know you've had the Chiefs, you've had the Seahawks. You've lost to the Seahawks.
Ravens.
You've lost to the Ravens. Every team since the Chiefs that you like were supposed to compete with to show you're a contender. That's what this Dallas game comes down to. And I think it's going to end up being like Dallas are going to be like 2.5-point favorites. Yeah. And I think it's going to be like you're going to be in a battle. I want to see the Lions pull one of those off to show that they can win a playoff game.
I think they beat the Cowboys. Like, I just think that's
I think they figured that one out.
Best team on the schedule left. I just think after being embarrassed there last year and Dan Campbell, he's a Texas guy. I think that's just one of those games they've been thinking about all year. Like, it's the end of the season, we're not going to lose to those boys.
And the three Dallas losses: Eagles, 49ers, Cardinals. So far, basically the contenders that they have played, they have lost to. So if you can somehow go into Dallas, which the Dallas Cowboys, they have the Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions. What a gauntlet that they're about to go through.
Uh-huh.
Including the Detroit Lions to end. So you're going to get them. They could potentially drop 2 or 3 games, and you're getting them when they're on their way down as well. I think you have to go in there and beat them to prove that you're a playoff team.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I think you guys are giving this Detroit Lions team way too much credit, saying that they're going to go in Dallas and win. The way they've looked the last 2 games, it is fair to not just buy in blindly on this until we see it. This Detroit Lions team needs to make a statement, and it starts with the Saints. I don't think any game's an easy win from here on out.
No.
And I would be happy if they go 4-2 the way they're playing right now.
Yeah. I thought all along, I thought the Broncos were the gimme game.
I agree with all that, but like as bad as we've been playing, fellas, we're acting like they're on a 4-game losing streak. They've gone 3-1 in this bad stretch.
Yeah, true.
So, like, if you're sitting here, at some point, they're not going to keep playing this bad. And that's a fact because we've seen a 20-25 game stretch of this Lions team leading up to last year when they started that 8-2 stretch. And we've seen them put together great football. We've seen them put together bad football and then bounce back for it for 5, 6, 7 games. So right now, this is that situation to where they just had one of those worst stretches that they had like last year. And they came off of that 3-1. If they just like Nick, like you said, if they show something in New Orleans that they're starting to turn this thing around again, that's to me, it's like, okay, I have faith. Like they just played really bad for 4 weeks and they went 3-1, and then they found a way to bounce back and dominate in New Orleans. All right, now we have a real football team here. I get the turnovers, I get this, I get that. Let's not forget 3 weeks ago, fellas, that we all had them in our top 5 in the power. Yeah. This is still one of the best teams in football.
No doubt. And I think one of the things that we need to see, it's a must-win in New Orleans in my eyes. It's an extremely must-win, and we need to see Jared Goff get back to that top 7 quarterback status where he's putting the team on his back and he's an asset. And stop with the turnovers. He really needs to cut that shit right now.
We don't have any momentum right now. I think like our momentum as a team was doing like very good, you know what I mean? And it's just like we don't have it. I'm not saying we can't beat Denver, but they're the hottest team in football, right? They're super hot right now. Like they can't. Russell Wilson, I don't like him, but he's balling. Cortland Sutton's balling. That team's nice. Sean Payton's getting over there, you know what I mean? But I don't think that they're a threat, you know, but it's just like that isn't a gimme game. Right. You know what I mean? Like it was, 4 weeks ago, but it's not anymore. You know what I mean? So we got to win that game. You got to come out with the Saints, down there in, Louisiana. But it's just the Broncos game bothers me and the Cowboys game because of Jared Goff. And I'm a big Jared Goff dude. I've said it multiple times. We said that he was going to, lock back in this week, and he did the exact same shit. You know what I mean? Like, and then for me, it sucks because I was backing it up. So I need him to lock in because if not, we're not that team right now where we have, like, momentum. We're just, kind of stuck. And once we get that back, I'll be more confident. But right now, it's just like, until he starts, he's a leader. Until he gets back, to what he used to do, like the first few weeks of the year and things like that, I can't fully say like we're gonna, just run through teams because it's not. The vibe isn't the vibe right now. These last couple weeks,
I could be really wrong too, and this could like when we look back at this in a couple weeks, like Booner, you should have said that. I do think Jared Goff turns things around. I don't know what it is. I have faith that he does it.
Everything's gonna be fine.
I'm not gonna like get all hyped up. Like I want to be just a serious Booner real quick. This isn't a hyped up Booner. I think he could turn it around. And like he's shown, like he went on that 12-game streak with no turnovers or no interceptions. Like I think he could do that again. And maybe not at that high of a level, but
these last 2 weeks, the last 2 games were in 1 week. That's literally he had 2 games within 5 days
11
apart.
games too.
Yeah,
Like,
but the first one was as good as he's looked.
Especially, and we're going to go to break here. We're going to come back and talk about the linebackers. Huge loss with Anzalone the next few weeks. We're going to talk about the guys to replace him. But with that stretch there, any sport you play, if you're in a slump, especially like football, when you're used to playing 1 game a week and you're in a slump, you get a week to recover. Like, hey, work on this, look at film. When you're in a slump, like you did versus the Bears, Lucas, I'm sure you can agree on this. You have a couple days just to watch film and to be like, what am I doing wrong? What's happening? Oh, our offensive lineman's now gone. This is happening. Like, everything's hitting the fan. Usually, you have time to be able to like take a step back. All right, this is what we need to address. They had 2 or 3 days to do it. And it was like, all right, turn. So that's where I do think like Jared, 10 days off, Dan. Here we go.
And I'm with you.
I could look stupid though.
I do think
out and does 8 more
That's what Jared talk is. We look stupid half the time.
That's why I started to clip the chat a little bit because you guys clip us.
No, I do think Jared will turn it around. It's not me doubting that. It's just you've seen the bad with Jared Goff, and sometimes when you want to win a Super Bowl, the bad sticks with you longer than the good. And whether that's fair or not, that's just how it is with me and Jared right now. I'm a Jared guy, but he needs to step the fuck up if he wants to earn another contract here. Like, honestly.
Yeah. I agree. I hope he does it.
Another contract to pay for another car.
$35 million
from Feldman Chevrolet.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. They got 18.
There.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer, has 18 dealerships located all over Detroit. You can find them on visit. You just got to visit FeldmanAuto.com. Since 1996, they've been offering convenient first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. It's what's made them Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. You can also catch Woodward Sports there every other Monday live from their Novi location. Check them out.
Yeah, baby. And then Guardian Alarm. Let me tell you guys about it. Great defense. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs.
God damn.
That is 24/7 professional monitoring.
Jesus.
Give us a call. Give them a call anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. That is technology backed by people where your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Make sure for a great defense, call that number above me, 1-800-STAY-OUT.
And get some sunglasses, eh?
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. You just got to visit the Grosse Pointe shop, the shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or check them out online at fairwaypacking.com.
Fairway, baby. Get your meat.
Get your meat.
Gotta get that meat. Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Look at these beautiful animals behind us. That is a bright screen right now. That thing hit us and poof, it was like a whole nother, like these lights we have above us. It's like a whole nother extra one.
Yeah, see, it looks
you don't even need them.
I don't. We should unplug it. No, don't actually do that. It'll make us look really
pasty.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Been tanning at Planet Fitness, baby.
Like Tyrone Biggums.
Tanning. Go get some sun.
You want some crack?
All right, welcome back. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Let's get this thing up to 75 likes here before we're done with the first hour into the second hour. Lucas took my screen there, but I'm still here. I'm still going. Let's talk about this. So Alex Anzalone, massive injury. To me, I looked at it like this. I think on both sides of the ball, when you're talking Lions offense and defense, I think there's only two guys maybe on each side of the ball to where if you lose them, it's a big hit. On offense, to me, it's Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, or maybe Penei Sewell. And then on defense, to me, it's Aiden Hutchinson and Alex Anzalone. Those are like the main guys on each side to where you're like, this could be bad. And Anzalone, the way he's been playing, the heart of this team, the green dot, the leader, the captain of that defense, that's a problem. He's gone. But the expectations now, Broder, Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, Derek Barnes. Time for some of those guys to step up. I have a couple stats I'm going to share with you in a second.
Hit them, baby.
You want me to tell them now? I want to hear what your thoughts are first on the effect of this Anzalone thing, and then I'll tell you my stats. Because these stats, I think, will give people some hope heading into these next couple games with no Anzalone. I think it kind of gives people like a little bit of a, all right, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think it's a huge loss from the green dot perspective. I think they just became green dot unstable. If you had some sliders downtown, you know what I'm talking about. Because it's a leadership piece that they're missing. I'm okay with Derek Barnes and Jack Campbell having to step up, putting them through the ringer, putting them right in that fire while we're headed on this playoff run, before we hit the playoffs, before they get these really extra critical game time action. So I'm okay with that side of it, but it's who replaces the leadership. Because it's not. Maybe it's Derek Barnes. I don't know if he's that guy on the defense. You know, sort of that next man up from a captain type perspective, or if they have someone on the defensive line like Hutch or Tracy Walker, or maybe Tracy
Kirby.
But yeah, so that's what I'm worried about. But I think this is a good opportunity for Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes to step up and get reps, especially Jack Campbell.
That's my biggest thing is with these other linebackers. I don't think, and Lucas, you're on the morning show, and Flannel is the guy that's all the way against Malcolm Rodriguez. But if you guys want to put something in perspective here real quick, let's talk about Malcolm Rodriguez's rookie year. And real quick, Jalen, I know there's a graphic. Let's save that real quick. I'll let you know when to throw this up because I've got different stats here. Malcolm Rodriguez last year, 87 total tackles, 10 stuffs, and a sack in his rookie year, right?
Guess what stuffs and a sack.
Guess what Jack Campbell's on track for?
More.
87 tackles.
Less. He is on track for less than Rodrigo had last year. He's on track for 79 tackles. Right now he has 1 sack and he only has 2 stuffs. So when you really break this down, I think a guy like Rodrigo stepping in, and I get there's a skill difference, there's the time, there's a lot of different factors you could throw in there. But Rodrigo has proven in his rookie year that he can produce. And he can kind of produce with what Jack Campbell's been doing now in that limited role Jack's had. So I think that when we do break it down, I don't think there's like a serious hey, panic button. Like, you have a guy who produced last year and almost had 100 tackles.
Yeah.
You have a guy in Jack Campbell who's on track for about the same, and if you give him a bigger role, he's probably going to produce because he's a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And he's got the talent to do so.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I think these next 2 weeks, if you can get by this Saints and Bears game, I think the Detroit Lions can still be fine on defense with the Jack Campbell, Rodrigo, Derek Barnes kind of little 3 there.
Yeah, in that scenario, I actually wouldn't mind seeing them bring Derek Barnes off the edge a lot more. And in that scenario, have Malcolm and Jack take the more traditional linebacker positions because they're both good at stopping the run.
Dot last year? I don't think they would do that. Just throw him in from special teams and say, hey, here's your green dot.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I wonder if he did. I'm trying to think of who had it last year. I think there was a safety who had it. Anzalone did, but I think there was points in the last couple years. I think maybe Trey. I can't remember. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with that. I don't know. I think Rodrigo and Jack will be just fine, though.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Jalen Reeves-Maybin gets a little
Can you give Flannel that stat tomorrow?
Repeat it again just so I can.
Malcolm Rodriguez last year. 87 total tackles, 10 stuffs, and a sack. Jack,
What do you mean by a stuff?
I think it means like you blow up a play, kind of like a tackle for a loss. I think it's like you blow up a play. I know it's ESPN. I get it. They didn't have tackle for a loss in ESPN, but they had stuff, so I'm guessing that's all it is. I didn't want to take the term away. Someone would be like, Booner, what are you
It's
talking
a good opportunity for you to do stuff. You don't get to do it that much.
Ah, good one.
Can I pose a question to you? Actually,
can I just give him a stat real quick so you can pose it to Flannel? Stat. So Rodrigo, 87 tackles last year, 10 stuffs, so tackles for a loss, and a sack. Jack Campbell, on track for 79 tackles.
Yeah.
He has 2 stuffs right now.
The panic around Jack Campbell kind of drives me like crazy.
I think he's fine.
He's an off-ball or he's an on-ball linebacker that's playing off the ball, he's an off-ball linebacker that's playing on the ball.
There you go.
And they're expecting him just to come in and just contribute right away when he's learning a new position. It's like he's not even playing the position he's supposed to be. And so
Colby Sorsdale.
That's why these next 2 weeks are going to be incredible for
I think
Jack
we're going to
Campbell.
see a lot more usage of Tracy Walker inside the box, if anything, though, especially when it comes to Alvin Kamara.
Interesting.
And it's not a knock, but why would you send Malcolm out there when you could put Kirby, Brian Branch, or even more Brian Branch, and put either Tracy or Brian Branch on Alvin Kamara the whole time?
Breaking news. Rick in the Woodward Sports chat said Trevor Nowatzki green dot.
No, let's go,
baby! Give my man a green dot.
I thought that was serious for a second.
He might make the active roster on Sunday.
He'll go down there for some special teams.
He'll be taking Rodrigo's spot. That's hype. Shout out Trevor. Hopefully he does play. That'd be sick.
Wow, yeah.
Fellas, I think Jack Campbell is ready for this. He was a first-round linebacker for a reason. He was an absolute dog coming out of Iowa. We have not seen him put it all together yet, but he's going to step up and be a big reason why I think this defense turns it around. He's an extremely good tackler. He is good in coverage. He just hasn't put it all together yet, but I think with him now getting this opportunity to start, he's going to put it all together.
In his rightful position to where he knows where to play, like he's comfortable with. And the fact that I've said this yesterday, the fact that kind of the first 5-6 games of the season, if you go look at his snap count, it gradually goes up. He wasn't really playing a ton until James Houston got hurt, and then he kind of came in that Sam spot, and then it started going up more. And I think these next 2 weeks he's going to have a full load, and he's going to be full on there. And I truly think you're going to see a different Jack Campbell. And I see some people in here too that are like, who was it? Andrew Jones Campbell has been a liability. What games have you been watching? I think, yes, he's had some struggles, but again, he's been out of position. He's been playing a position in the NFL. Think about that. You're going from college to the NFL, and they're like, hey, let's get you out. Let's change something up here. You're learning that within months, and I get he's a first-round pick, but now that he's able to kind of – and I hate that I said it yesterday, and I did say I didn't mean it in that way. And I heard you say on the morning show as well, the kind of not a blessing in disguise, but kind of just, hey, Ansel goes down. This is an opportunity for you to see what your first round pick can do. And he's going to get that opportunity. This might help him out and develop into the playoffs. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And then when Ansel comes back, now you have 2-3 elite linebackers.
Darius Leonard.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. He visited the Eagles.
Either
today.
or.
Is that the same name, or is Darius?
Darius Leonard is his government name.
He changed his name to Shaq.
Shaquille.
I think is it actually his actual name Shaquille?
I think the middle name is. I think his middle name is Shaquille or Darius. It's one of. I think it's his government name. He just flipped it up a little bit.
Yeah. I was thinking the Pat McAfee guy, Darius Butler.
Oh, the one that retired at halftime, was that him?
No, that's Antonio Brown.
No, that's Vontae Davis.
Vontae Davis,
Davis, yeah, that was wild.
Ooh.
Darius Shaquille Leonard.
Ooh.
All right, let's
tell them about the Planet of Fitness.
Yeah, when we come back too, we're gonna 9 o'clock second hour. We're gonna talk about some All Pros. I actually have some good. I think I have some great things on this. We did All Pros before, and Broder gave us a whole starting lineup. So we broke it down.
Weird, you're the only one laughing at that joke.
There was a little laugh over there.
It was
Jalen just always gives me a straight face on any joke.
It was a sympathy laugh.
The whole
Jalen's not amused.
The whole crowd could be laughing, and Jalen will look at me like.
Grover's not.
That is also true.
Not feeling it. All right, Planet Fitness. It is the home of the judgment-free zone. You hear that, guys? Judgment-free. The judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience
some of the females in
a
there.
squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of that for just $10 a month. Check out Planet Fitness. They have hundreds around the Metro Detroit area and thousands worldwide. Make sure you guys check out Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. That means going to Premier Pet Supply, hands down Michigan's best pet store. They're family owned and operated for over 30 years. They got 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, curbside home delivery, and lowest prices. Yup, Premier Pet Supply, premier prices. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
Man, who says www anymore? I'm just kidding.
What's that mean?
World Wide Web, baby. All right, welcome back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. It is a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday night. It's very cold out, actually, too. It's freezing outside.
Nah, it's cold.
It was so cold today.
Way too cold.
That's the only thing I hate. I like the snow a little bit now. I'm starting to become a little bit of a fan. My whole life I've hated it. Now I'm starting to be like, I can deal with it. The cold though, like when there's no snow and it's just cold to be cold, that's like what have they done to us?
Icy.
Icy and cold. Like if there's no snow, let it be warm out. All right, sorry, let's get off with that. Hit that like button if you guys haven't already. Let's get into things here. Pro Bowl, or not Pro Bowl, All Pro. Want to make that very, very clear as well, because we've done this segment before, and people in the comment sections on our social media was like, oh, Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl, Pro. This is All Pro.
This is big.
We put a segment out on our YouTube. It was one of our clips, and I think I can't remember who did it, but we talked this whole segment about All Pro, and someone put our clip up as Pro Bowl, and we sounded so
like
stupid.
In the caption.
In the caption, not the caption. It was the main thing.
God.
And I was like, oh no, we had to go. We switched it, but. When I went and watched it, and if you watch it, compare, because All Pro and Pro Bowl are two huge different things.
Oh, by far.
Huge difference. Like, what's his name made the Pro Bowl last year? The backup for the Ravens, a backup quarterback.
Don't diss Tyler Huntley.
Not dissing, but if a backup quarterback makes the Pro Bowl, there's nothing behind it, in my opinion. A backup makes it. Come
Tyler
on,
Huntley.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
All right, let's talk about this All Pro. I want the chat to do this real quick. Drop in the chat who you think on this Detroit Lions team will be an All-Pro this season. And Broder, I'm going to go through my list real quick.
Yeah, drop all of them.
Drop whoever you think. I have 2 that I think are locks, and I have 1 guy that's still playing for an All-Pro season.
Interesting.
And I'm going to say that 2 locks and 1 that's playing for one right now. And guess what? They're all on offense. There is not 1 defensive player that I think will even come close to getting an All-Pro.
My list is very similar to yours.
Okay. So you want me to start mine off?
Please.
I'll go through my 3, and then you go through your 3?
Yeah.
I'm going to start off with Penei Sewell.
Valid.
Fair.
Penei Sewell, to me,
he's okay.
To me, he is the biggest lock on this team. And it's not just a lock to get All-Pro. He is the best player at his position to me right now by a little bit, by a good amount. And I think he's a lock to become first-team All-Pro as a tackle in the NFL. Jalen, can you throw that graphic up? There's the Trent Williams Penei one.
To me, he's a top 3 offensive lineman.
Oh, 100%. Look at this. Trent Williams, who everyone says is the best in the game right now, who broke the contract record, did all of that. Look at these stats, Broder. 11-9 games, 0 sack, and put this in perspective. Panay's played 2 more games.
Yeah.
Less pressures given up. 1 more quarterback hit and less penalties.
I think he's played 2 more games at a different position too.
Yes. Which makes it that much harder to
suck it, Trent.
So I think Panay is a lock, and if people in the chat, I don't think there's anyone in the chat or anyone that would disagree with me. But he right now, at the moment, is a first team All-Pro lock. Second guy I have here for my lock, and then I'll go to you, and then I'll tell you my third player after. My second player here, Amon-Ra St. Brown, will be an All-Pro player this year. And I'm going to tell you this as well. There are 6 receivers that become an All-Pro every year, 3 first and 3 second. Amon-Ra St. Brown right now is a first-team All-Pro wide receiver. And I have the stat. I have everything to back it up. Let me get flannel bag. Let me throw my
so I'm speaking like from top of my nose.
Do you want me to tell you the players he's ahead of?
This is when, and I'm not saying that he's not going to, but when it comes to my mind, I think he's locked for second team. I'm going to say Tyreek.
A lock for second team, yes, but right now he's.
I'm not ruling him out, but I'm just saying at this point, I think you got to put AJ Brown, Tyreek, and CeeDee Lamb over him.
I will discredit CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown right now.
Why do you think? And I'm not saying you're wrong, but give me your case.
Amon-Ra St. Brown at the moment, he's played 1 less game than both of those guys. He is averaging basically 100 yards per game, 99 yards per game. Those guys are averaging 95 yards per game. At the same time, on top of him averaging, he's only 30 yards behind both of those guys with a game less. They put that in perspective. 1 less game, he's only 30 yards behind these 2 guys, both of them, CD and AJ. On top of that, he has more catches than both of those guys. And they each, I think AJ Brown might have 1 more touchdown.
You got to put AJ because
you don't have to. He has had a bad 2 or 3 weeks.
Bro. Okay.
You guys are talking about this stretch that he had. Look at the last 2 or 3 weeks.
I understand it, but you know what's happening. You know why AJ Brown hasn't been having to go off because it's Devontae Smith on the other side of the ball.
Okay, take that. Who cares?
When you're talking about statistics, that matters.
Who's putting the better numbers up?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let me ask you this. Ask me this. Or answer me this.
I will ask you this.
If Amon-Ra St. Brown was on the left side.
You're drinking over there.
If Amon-Ra St. Brown was on the left side and Devontae Smith was on the right side, do you think Amon-Ra St. Brown's numbers would be the same?
Yes.
Oh.
Boom.
Come on. Right now.
Don't come on me to that. I love Amon-Ra,
AJ
bro.
Brown is the second best receiver in the game. Yes, he was.
He is, bro. He is.
Fellas,
do you
go look at the stats. Amon-Ra St. Brown has more catches. He's averaging more yards per game, and he has about the same. Let me look at the touchdowns real quick.
The offense runs through him, and I'm not saying that's something to knock on.
2 more touchdowns. Okay.
I'm not. This is not a diss to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not going to be mad if he's a first-team All-Pro.
So do we just not give Justin Jefferson credit because
Justin Jefferson's hurt this year?
I'm just saying in general. We look at other these guys. It's okay. So let's just take away all of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Everything that he's done, take away his stats because AJ Brown is the same as him, but he has someone else on his team.
That's not what I'm saying.
We're going to discredit Amon-Ra St. Brown because he doesn't have a great number 2.
Yeah, you're not discrediting it, but you have to give that nod to AJ where it's damn, you have a dog on the other side and you're still producing that much in a run-heavy offense.
Come on.
Do you think he's a top 3 receiver though, Booner?
Who? St. Brown? Right now? Yes, he is right now.
So he's better than. So is Tyreek Hill? AJ Brown, he's better than. He's number 3.
I think he's right there. If you look at the stats, and
I don't hate. He can be first team All-Pro, but AJ Brown's in front of the man.
Let me put this in perspective real quick too, because if you guys want to look at the whole season and everything, let me really break this down to you guys here too, real quick. Because AJ Brown, yes, he has been great. He is right now, skill-wise, everything-wise, he is one of the best in the game right now. But let's look at games real quick because Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? His worst game, 56 yards, 71 yards, 77 yards. Want to go look at A.J. Brown's last 3 weeks? 37 yards, 8 yards, 66 yards. And let's go a couple weeks back or before he went on that big streak, 29 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown hasn't had that. And you could say, yes, he has Devontae Smith. But we're talking about giving an award out here. I'm not going to go to an award and say, oh, he has this guy, he has this guy, he has this guy. No, I'm looking at the stats and what these guys are doing. 37 yards last week, 8 yards the week before, and 66 yards the week before. Please tell me if you're like, yes, he had a great 8-game stretch of football. A great 8-game stretch of football. But the last 3 weeks, if you're going to sit here and tell me A.J. Brown was a first-team All-Pro player in his last 3 games played, you are lying right to my face now.
Hey, Broder. What you think?
Lying to my face right now.
Let him go. Let him go.
Okay.
Fire.
Am I wrong? Dude, that is not first-team All-Pro football.
Over the 3 weeks, yes.
37, 8, and 66.
The fact of the matter
8
is,
yards.
A.J. Brown is a fucking monster.
He is. I agree. So Justin Jefferson and
But stop bringing up Justin Jefferson. He's been out since week fucking 4, man. Okay, when we're talking about it seriously,
third in the NFL in yards per game right now. Third.
If you're gonna put him at third, that's fine. I would put him. If you want to talk about somebody to fight with, it's C.D. Lamb. It's not A.J. Brown, bro. It's not A.J. Brown.
I'm putting
C.D. Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown are in the same type of situation, same level of quarterbacks, everything.
I'm putting him
A.J.
over
Brown.
the next couple
I love Amon-Ra, bro, but A.J. Brown is a better wide receiver.
He has the third amount of yards per game in the NFL right now. He has the fourth.
So are you gonna put Keenan Allen? Are you gonna put Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen should be first team All Pro right now as well.
That's just,
A.J. Brown second.
That's just not. That's just not the case. Because
Go look at the stats.
Bro, the Chargers are trailing and having to throw their way back into the game. They're gonna force feed Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen's a great wide receiver, but he's second team All Pro. A.J. Brown, the Eagles are winning most of their game. They have a great running game, and they have Devontae Smith, and for most of the season they had Dallas Goedert. And even when they get inside the red zone, it's the Jalen Hurts show, man.
Come on, I don't want to hear about this because when you get in there,
you don't want to because it's the context around the stats.
When you get in the red zone, it's a David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs.
Absolutely. So A.J. Brown is scoring more than that.
Apples and apples.
Look at the touchdowns.
Come on. That man, he's a lock for second team, and right now he's fighting for a first team.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that statement.
That was my statement the whole time.
No, you've been saying that he was better than A.J. Brown. You're like, I will defend the hill that he was better than A.J. Brown.
Right now, at one point, A.J. Brown was having a better year. Right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
If you're going to go week to week, you can have a new first team All Pro then. So we're going over the course of the season.
All year long, right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown's having a better year now.
If you want to go up to, dude, A.J. Brown is a better wide receiver than Amon.
Yes, he is.
And he is the number 2 wide receiver so far through the season, behind Tyreek Hill.
But I'm saying now, Amon-Ra St. Brown's putting better numbers up than A.J. Brown this year.
That's fine.
And that's where, when you want to have this argument, Amon-Ra St. Brown, if he's putting better numbers up than A.J. Brown, and they're winning, and the Detroit Lions go win 12 football games, they're going to look and say he deserves to be a first-team All-Pro.
I don't hate that. But A.J. Brown's getting that first-team All-Pro with them. I hope you know that.
Out of there then.
I never put Keenan Allen in there.
I did just because he's been having a crazy year.
Can I ask a question, you guys, just to throw a little wrinkle into this argument? It's actually from Patrick Ofiara, and unrelated to All-Pro, but of these two players, how about that? Who do you want on 4th and 10?
Ooh.
Which receiver would you rather have on 4th and 10?
Amon-Ra St. Brown, not dropping a ball.
I don't hate either of them because Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to get open regardless, but if, Jared Goff were to be under pressure and he's got to make just a fuck it throw, you take A.J. Brown every time, but it's a win-win. But honestly, I'd probably take
do it. Just say it.
It's interesting.
Don't switch up.
I'm trying to think that
now.
Game on the line. I would probably take Amon-Ra because his hands are more consistent.
Yeah. That was a question too. They were saying who's more clutch. So I guess you just answered that one. Technically.
Yeah. Peaceful Tim said Booner had one too many energy drinks. Please be patient with him and his screaming. I apologize for the I just got out of hand there.
It's all right.
Actually, I don't apologize.
Be you.
You get Booner. That's what you get.
So who's
Booner.
your third possibly Pro Bowl All-Pro?
A.J. Brown.
No, the third one I had. I don't think he'll get it. I think he's just fighting. I think he's the next closest one on the Lions, and I think it's just Sam Laporta. I don't think he does it because T.J. Hawkinson has had a year. Obviously, Travis Kelce's always going to be in that conversation, and then George Kittle as well has put numbers up. All three of those guys have had more yards and touchdowns as Laporta. I just think he's so close to them. He's within a couple 100 or so yards, a couple catches, a touchdown or two. I'm pretty sure he has more catches than George Kittle and the same amount of touchdowns. I think there's an argument to be made to where if he does what he did the first couple weeks in this last 6-game stretch, then you can start looking at it and saying, hey, can you put him up there with these other guys? And can you give him an All-Pro? Because the thing with tight end, you only get 2.
Yeah, there's only one on each
which
first
to me
and
is
second
kind of
team.
ridiculous.
There are 3 receivers on the first, 3 on the second.
There should be at least 3 total tight ends in All-Pro. And not
especially because
maybe
the
one
game,
first and 2 second.
There are more tight ends being used in the game now, too.
Yeah, and you have multiple.
What about Frank Ragnow? He was my third. I had Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Frank Ragnow as my 3 possible all-proers.
I don't know. I don't hate it. Like, I think there's a chance. I guess I would.
Frank Ragnow?
I would just have to go.
Or Jason Kelsey. Are you kidding me? Oh, you missed it, Jalen. You missed it.
Sorry.
Moving on.
I was reading the comments. I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you.
That's what my only ones is those 3 there. I just don't
Jack
think.
Fox?
Maybe. I don't even look at the.
They don't use him.
They don't use him.
Maybe the best punter in the team in the league.
Usually you could say Khalif maybe, but like he hasn't really done it. He hasn't even had a return yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just, to me, I think like we had a list earlier this year where you could, like, when you're like 4 weeks in, you have a lot of guys sitting there like potentially like maybe like
Purdy.
Hutch could maybe do it. Who'd you say?
Said they're just looking Purdy.
Yeah, for a second I thought you were Brock Purdy. I was like, wait a second.
Like they're looking Purdy.
No, yeah, like Hutch at one point, you could probably, like, after that 3-game stretch he had where he just went off, you could probably, hey, maybe he can do it.
Lee McNeil? Jared Goff?
No. Aleem has a chance, I think, to make a Pro Bowl.
Fuck no.
Pro Bowl?
Oh, Pro Bowl, maybe.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm not.
I thought you were saying all pro.
No.
I was like, bro, what are we talking
Pro Bowl.
about
I
here?
apologize. That was a great discussion, though. I think our next one will probably get maybe heated as well because we're doing our NFL power rankings. Booner and Broder's power rankings. Let me tell you guys, though, before we do that, about the Lions pregame show and then Hamlin Pub. I'm going to tell you guys about the Lions pregame show. That is hosted by the one, the only, Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrady. Me as well. I'm on that show as well. Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Make sure you guys tune in this Sunday for the Saints game. We'll be breaking down everything you need. It'll be me on the desk, Jeff, and I don't know who else will be here, but we will have some people in here. Make sure you guys tune in on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. And then make sure you guys head over to Hamlin Pub. Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just a place for you. Head over to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations, an experience where everyone is a regular. You get half-off pizza on Thursdays or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games. Hamlin Pub is the place to be. Make sure you visit the location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like a landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Do you have football and cheese on the brain? Well, fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is going to be awesome. Fall is also the perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance. So shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. So ask for Mark at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. If you're on the YouTube channel, if you guys can, do us all a favor. Hit that like button for us. Let's get to 100 here. We've got a lot of people watching. Let's get to 100 here before the 9:30 and then the final 2 segments we have. Broder, let's do this. We're going to get into our weekly power rankings, NFL power rankings, week 13. I'll let you go first. I went first last week. I'll let you hit this one first.
I'll
let you take it.
Let me hit it first, baby. Let's go. Whenever you put that up, Jalen, my number 10, moving down from the number 8 spot, they got beat. They got beat by the Broncos 29-12. Cleveland Browns. I almost moved them out of my top 10. I couldn't pull the trigger bringing the Steelers up, but it was in there. And the Denver Broncos, too, I think this might be a one that people are going to be curious about. But I think they're playing – they're as hot as any team in the league. They're 6-5. They've won – they won 5 in a row. Just beat the Browns, a really good defense, 29-12. We haven't seen many teams put up 29 on the Browns this year. So I put them as my number 9. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 8, which is up 1 spot from last week. I had them at 9. They're playing really well. Like, I couldn't argue if some people have them in the top 5, and I can't argue. But I just think some of these other teams deserve to be up there before. The Detroit Lions. Number 7, the Miami Dolphins. I don't believe in them yet. I actually really like what they're doing on defense. They're playing with a little swagger since they got Jalen Ramsey back. But I just got to see them prove they can win, not in Miami, and against a team over 500. Who they just beat the Jets 34-13, and that was a good showing on offense. But we'll see. The Detroit Lions, here we go, number 6.
Hey!
This is a drop down from number 3. And a lot of the power rankings I had them 8, 9, 10 even. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're actually the highest ranked team that lost last week. Everyone else won last week. They lost to the Packers 29-22, but I'm still putting the Lions in there at number 6. I just believe in them more than the Dolphins and the Jaguars and the Broncos and the Browns. At number 5, I had to jump them, the Dallas Cowboys. They're playing way too good. CeeDee Lamb, we've been talking about, he's a stud. Dak Prescott's playing well, and that defense is great. Number 5, and then Kansas City Chiefs. They just beat the Raiders, but I have a hard time. I couldn't put them above these next 3 teams. They're 8-3, just beat the Raiders 31-7. But I got the Baltimore Ravens, who won, and I moved down a spot. I did. Yeah, I put the San Francisco 49ers, who I had at number 4. I'm bumping them up to number 2, bringing Baltimore Ravens down to number 3.
Wow.
Then I can't keep the Eagles away from that number 1 spot like ludicrous. They're there.
They're there. I don't think you can argue that. I don't hate the list at all. I don't hate it.
Hey, I'm excited to see what yours.
A little similar to mine, actually. To be honest, there's just a couple changes.
Same teams, or are you have someone from my just missed the cut? My honorable mention.
I do have someone that's in your top 10, not in my top 10.
Okay,
actually, and I think it's fair. Jalen, you want to throw mine up there whenever you're ready. So here's mine here. So obviously, at number 10, one team that dropped out of my top 10 this week was the Cleveland Browns. With DTR going down, I do take into account like a quarterback. If you're on your 3rd string quarterback and you lost a game, I get the Browns. What are they, like 6-7-4?
I believe now.
Even at 7-4 now, if you're on your 3rd quarterback of the year, I get the defense. I've been a big person talking about that defense and how you can kind of argue that they're keeping them in the top 10. I just think with the DTR and then losing this last game, I don't see it, especially
possibly
to
Joe
the Broncos.
Flacco season.
Maybe, yeah, he was
like
on the
Flacco.
practice squad. So I dropped the Browns out. I moved in Denver. And I know, and Lucas, I know you don't like Denver. I know you talked about it on the Morning Woodward show. I just think if you win 5, if you're 6-5, you're sitting here in that little area with that 9 to kind of 15 teams. I'm going to start because they're all so close. I have to break something down. And when I go all the way over on the standings and you look over there, there's teams that are at the 10 to 11, 12, 13 range that are sitting there with 3-game losing streaks.
You think Denver beats Houston? We'll find out this weekend because they play.
I think they may. Where are they playing? Where's the game?
It's in Houston.
I think Denver, no matter what, still can win this game. I think they do.
They can, but legitimate. You put your nuts on the table.
I'm not going to say it's a lock. I don't want to. I'm not going to bet on it, but I do think they can. Right now, I think Denver. You got to put this in perspective. They're on a 5-game winning streak.
I understand.
That's like in the NFL. You know how you would love the Detroit Lions to go win 5 straight games.
So they're eventually going to come down to earth.
Eventually, but right now they're one of the hottest teams. They're the hottest team in football.
But if you just
5
take
straight,
the eye test, I just think the Houston Texans are getting.
I see what you're saying, but I'm going to just give them respect. Number 10. Nothing crazy.
Another team. I don't hate it. I just don't agree.
All right, fair. Another team. You just want to argue with me today. I see what you're doing here.
The Broncos are.
I see what you're doing here.
The Broncos are the new Vikings, man.
Next one here, number 9.
Likely.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. I moved them up. They weren't even in my top 10 last week. Dropped the Bills out as well. I put the Steelers there. 7-4. Beat the Bengals 16-10. They look good. Matt Canada gone, and I'm not going to say I'm a Kenny Pickett guy whatsoever, but I have thrown out there that maybe he could actually be their guy. And they put up 400 or 500 yards of offense. He threw for almost 300 yards, no touchdowns, but 300. They look decent. Factually, he is the best quarterback in the NFL since week 8 last year. So I'm just throwing that out there. Number 8, the Miami Dolphins. Last week I had them at 8. I kept them the same. I just don't like their Jets win. It's like, yeah, they beat the Jets. You know? I don't know who to kind of have them jump. There's just something about the Dolphins to where any game that they play that's tough, they lose. And anytime they go on the road versus a tough team, it's an automatic loss. And they just haven't really proven yet that they can go out there and put a full game versus a good team. Number 7, I know this is low. Dropped them down 6 spots from last week. But the Detroit Lions. You can't lose to the Packers 29-22 and in a Packers dominating fashion and sit there and be like, hey, it's okay. They're still a top 5 team. And I know we've talked about that a lot. I still think though you can drop them down. You can be a little bit more realistic, and I will be. I'm not a full slappy, boys.
No, I like it, and I think one of the ones that some people didn't agree in the chat was that I had the Cowboys over the Lions, and you know. I had high expectations.
You had the Lions over the Cowboys?
I had the Cowboys over the Lions. I moved them up to 6
Lions at 6, Cowboys at 7.
I had Cowboys at 5.
Oh, at 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I have them at 6 as well.
They beat the Commanders, who I was high on.
They beat them 45-10.
Yeah.
And this is the thing too. And I was a person that did this a lot. Is I looked at the Cowboys. They're just beating bad teams. They're dominating them. Lucas and Jeff on the morning show, they called me out for it a little bit, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
What?
No, you called me out because I was saying that.
Bro, I just told you that the Cowboys are about to beat the Lions.
Yeah, you guys were calling me out because I said that the Cowboys are they're overrated because they're beating bad teams, and you guys were like, look how bad they're beating them. And
I thought you were saying that we.
No, and I went and did my research, and I was like, oh, yeah, boys are right. Jay, can you throw that back up there? I'm going to go through the top 5 here. At number 6, I have the Cowboys, 8-3. Number 5, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8-3. I think that win over the Texans. I know Texans have been hot. Getting a win versus Texans, I still think that's a good win. 4, Chiefs. I moved basically my 2, 3, and 4. I moved them all up. And same with the Jags. And I just pulled the Lions back, moved everyone up. Ravens at 3, 49ers at number 2. I think they're the second best team in football right now. Dominated the Seahawks, by the way, fellas.
Wow. Yeah, they did.
Dominated.
That's the best team in football.
They're dominated. Yes.
Scary.
I think this week they play. Take the 49ers. Take the 49ers.
I understand records are there, and I didn't make a power ranking or anything, but if I was making a power ranking, the 49ers would have been my number 1 team the last 2 weeks.
They're going to beat the Eagles
I don't
this
care
week.
that they have 3 losses. Like, any team's going to struggle a little bit when you lose your wide receiver 1 and your left tackle.
Want to know how they're better?
Young quarterback.
Thank you.
Guess who's favored? It's in Philly.
The 49ers
are favored in Philly
this weekend.
That's how you know this 49ers team's better than the Eagles.
Wow.
So yeah, that's huge. You don't really see that a lot, especially in these big time games. I was watching ESPN today and I saw there was like a stat up there that said they were favored. I can double check that because
I'll confirm it for you.
Yeah, 3-point favorites. Now it's not even like it's like 1.5. They're full 3-point favorites. So that's my. Is there anything on mine that you guys are like,
The Broncos, but that's it.
I mean, I think the Eagles and 49ers right there. I think if they're favored in Philly, I think you got to maybe put them 1 there.
Yeah, that's controversial. People.
I think I had a hard time with keeping the Steelers off, putting them I don't know what they are yet. Like they fired their OC and
they're the Steelers.
Yeah, I can't be.
Dude, they're 7-4.
7-4. What?
Hey, have y'all seen their schedule though? They may end up going like 6-1 or 5-1 or something like that.
We're very close to including Mike Tomlin in the Coach of the Year conversation with Campbell and with DeMeco Ryan.
Their schedule is
very
so
close.
He's in that conversation every year.
Incredible. They're not good.
Shout out Mike Tomlin.
They got TJ Watt. You're the best defensive player in the league.
He is.
He's a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
He should. He is the best defensive player in the NFL for years now. Mm-hmm. And people just keep throwing people ahead of him. Like that man, one of the best football players I've ever seen. And I know there's guys like Myles Garrett who but TJ, if you watch TJ Watt, dude, he literally, if you look at the last 3 seasons, I'm sure he's won 10+ games. Single-handedly.
Yeah.
Fumbles, interceptions, forcing, it's incredible to me to see what he does. All right, let's hit break again.
You want to hit something?
Let's hit it.
Okay, we'll hit it at Dispo Romeo because when you experience it, you know what I'm saying?
How about
My team
that?
that curates an exclusive atmosphere. You get the freshest inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. It's also the first ever cannabis mall that's conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Also open till midnight Monday through Saturday. Can it get any better than that? Nope. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's hot chicken sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
How would you like to win a 100K Vegas getaway?
Boy,
Take a trip to Vegas and live it up with your friends in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Drink It and Live It. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste so you can look good, feel good, and be the best version of yourself. So register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Man, oh man.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Boy, would I. Shout out Nick there.
Yeah, my bad, brother.
What happened?
That was one of the funnier.
Would you like to win a trip? Would I?
Would I? No, hey, I think blacked out.
It's all right. Those ad reads, they do that to you. Welcome back, though. Make sure if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button. Let's get to 100 here before the end of this next segment, Broder. Can we do that?
I would so appreciate that. Will you guys do that for me?
Can we do that?
Yeah.
I would love to do that. I want to have this conversation, though, here real quick with the people. And can we throw a poll up here, Jalen? I almost said all of your guys' name. It felt like my grandma.
That's what my mom does.
Yeah, just call everyone's name out until they get to the person they're trying to talk to.
It's usually the third, everyone else, you're the last name. Yeah, every time.
And you can talk to anyone. It's just like, Jalen, can we just do a poll? I want to see where the people think the Detroit Lions will fall. What seed will the Detroit Lions get in the playoffs? 1, 2, 3, or 4? And because I'm interested to see, because right now, in my opinion, I think the Lions are on their way to just the 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because I want to say 2 here, but if you do look at kind of these schedules, like even tomorrow or on this Sunday, if you're looking at the 2 seed versus the 49ers, right? It's either you or the 49ers. I think that's what it comes down to, the 2 and 3. The 49ers, they play the Eagles, who are 10-1. And yes, we just talked about how they're favorites to the best team in football. That's a loss that could happen.
Do we want the Eagles to win?
That's where I'm kind of in the but no matter what, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a win-win for the Lions, because then you're like still tied with the 49ers if you win, but you're a game closer to the Eagles. So I don't think you get the tiebreaker as of right now, because obviously you're in
They'd have 4 losses. The Niners would have 4 losses if they lost to the Eagles.
If the Eagles win, oh my bad, I was thinking if the Eagles win, they're 2 losses, they're 3 losses, and we're 3 losses.
The Eagles only have 1. If they win.
Well, I'm saying if the 49ers win.
Oh, yeah, if they win, then the Eagles have 2.
3 and 3.
Yeah, you're still a game behind.
But you're still losing the tiebreaker to the 49ers, because right now I'm pretty sure you're tied with them and they are above us. So I don't know what that'll end up coming down to by the end of the season. The 49ers, they have the Eagles left, the Seahawks left, Cardinals, Ravens, Commanders, and Rams. So there's not many losses left on their schedule, in my opinion. So to me, I think you're fighting for that 2 or 3 seed.
Yeah.
And I think if you can try and, like I said, if you can go 5-1 to end the year, the Booner prediction, I think you could snag the 2 seed.
Yeah, that should be the goal. I mean, the goal should be number 1, but you should you should fight tooth and nail to go get that 2 seed now. And hopefully things fall where maybe someone upsets the Eagles and you can slide up there into the 1, but it's going to be difficult in the next 6 games. You got to go probably 6-0, at least 5-1, and then Eagles got to drop. Man, do we have to root for the Eagles now?
What's crazy is I think 2 weeks ago we were all having these conversations, like we talked about the Booner path, which is there's still a path. There's always a path. Spenny always says that to me. He's like, well, everyone has a path. That's the point. Is we want to give some hope to the people that there's a path to still going and winning a Super Bowl, but. I think 2 weeks ago we were sitting there saying, hey, we can probably get the 1 seed if the Eagles lose. They almost lost, and then you end up dropping to the Packers. Like, there was almost that, like, there's that. That's how slim it is to get a 1 seed. I think now you're almost, like, I think if you did some sports books odds, I think the Lions would be their favorite. Like, they'd be like minus 100 right now to get the 3 seed. And then they would be like plus 100 or plus 200 for the 2 seed.
Do we pivot? Do fans pivot and now aim for the 2 seed, which means you'd be rooting for the Eagles for the rest of the year? They got the 49ers coming up, so that would give them their 4th loss. They got the Cowboys coming off after that, and then the Seahawks. So there's 3 teams that we're battling with right there in the middle. Most importantly, the 49ers and the 49ers and the Cowboys. More losses on. We might need them.
I think we might need the Eagles to. You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
What I feel like, though, every time I cheer for a team, they end up winning. Or when I cheer for a team, they end up losing.
That's true.
It's happened, like, fighting for this 1 seed. The Eagles, it seems like every game they should lose, they somehow pull out. Like that Bills game, no chance the Eagles should have won that football game.
Pull-out game strong.
No chance. Pull-out game.
Strong.
Oh, wow.
They pull it out every time. They're down to the wire.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts pulls out.
I want to see what
elite pull-out game from the Eagles.
It's wild. They always manage to pull out.
No babies.
The chat said right now so far the poll 28 votes, 57% is on the 3 seed. They think the Lions will get, and I think that's kind of fair.
That's fair. Now I want that too.
2 weeks ago, you would have loved to get a 1 seed. You're fighting for a 1 seed. Things happen quick. We know what this 49ers team was.
Is that crazy? Yeah. After going 2-1, and now forget who we lost to, the Packers. That's another story. But like, went 2-1 down the stretch, and now we're almost out of the 1 seed.
Dude, when
running.
you're at the top, it's tough.
It is.
Slim.
It is.
It's slim. You can't make mistakes. When you're fighting for a 1 seed, it's like that in the NBA and the NHL. When you're fighting for a bye or like in baseball, like to not get a wild card, and when you're like, it is slim. Sometimes it comes down to the end. Like one mistake could take away a bye. One mistake could take away that second home game, and that's what we're seeing from the Detroit Lions. Is they slip up once versus the Packers, and they slipped up and they won games before. They slipped up, lost a game, and now they're basically out of almost consideration for the 2 seed, and they're fighting for a 2 seed now.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles and the 49ers have clearly pulled away on just a whole entire talent level based. The Lions really need to get that 2 seed if we want to have a chance, I believe, in the playoffs to compete with the 49ers.
Yeah, we're lucky that they have those three losses on their record. So we need them to get one more.
Just a fan said, then Booner, quit rooting for the Lions. I'll never stop rooting for the Lions.
Nick's also a pretty epic reverse psychology type guy. You
picked the Vikings. I picked the Vikings twice for the people, they will lose. And they did. Shout out the Bears, which I'll never say again in my life, but pulling out a big win in Minnesota to help us out. And
what did you do for the Ravens?
Kind of calm everybody down after that Thanksgiving loss.
What did you do for the Ravens?
I definitely picked the Ravens.
And what happened?
We got slaughtered in Baltimore.
It's an outlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an outlier.
It's kind of like that away game that he went to in Dallas and they lost.
Oh, and then I went to Tampa and we won.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an outlier. I feel that. Right. I feel that for sure.
Number 2.
Yeah, I think that's it. Is that poll done? Let's see. What is it at? I think it's going to be 50% 3 seed. I think that's it. We can all agree on that.
Gotta get that 2.
I would love to get the 2. 5-1. That's the goal.
Yeah.
5-1, baby. All right, when we hit this break, we'll come back, Broder. We've got 2 segments left. Let's talk about this. This has been going around the office around here the last 2 or 3 days. I know Jeff and Neil had this conversation. Easy's been a lot on this conversation. Jared Goff, $50 million, $45 million.
$50 million!
$50 million! Where do we stand on that, Broder? I know you're the kind of the Goff guy with the MVP.
Thank you.
And I've been kind of in the middle here. In the off season, I was very vocal on shows with Easy about how I didn't want to pay $45 to $50 million. And then a couple weeks ago, and I said this in a group today that I was in with Easy, and I basically was like, a couple weeks ago, I came out and I was like, pay that man now. Just get it done with. And then he had $3 million. So we're going to talk about that. We want to get where we all stand on that. I want to feel the room a little bit with Jared Goff. But let me tell you guys about Woodward and Maine real quick.
Great show.
Great show.
Great show. Woodward Sports Lions Insider Show. Hosted by Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Detroit legend Terry Foster. They'll be live this Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. and then Tuesday from 7 to 8 a.m. breaking down everything you need to know about the Detroit Lions and all the inside information. Make sure you guys check that out on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. And then you can go get a great breakfast. It is wintertime in Detroit, and it is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You could try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. And if you want some breakfast, the stuffed potato pancakes, they are back. Try the classic lumberjack or the Santa Fe Garden. Also, they do have the new apple pie hotcakes, fellas. Too good to miss. Make sure you guys check those out and top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop over at your local Big Boy today for all of those great deals. Big Boy.
Woodward Sports own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Cintron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Cintron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Cintron, and entered to win the Cintron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Cintron today at any Meijer location or visit drinkcintron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrady, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand, you offer more products to more people. That's what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Les Stanford, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys tuning in here. Make sure if you haven't yet, that like button. Let's get to 100 here. We're 13 away. We've got some people in here who haven't hit it yet. Hit that like button for us. We're going to get into last segment here, and then we'll go to mailbag. It's been a fun show. There's been some yelling. We've had some great conversations out there.
Convos.
We've opened up a lot here.
Power rankings.
I feel like I'm in a therapy session with the people here.
Go
listening.
Red Wings.
Shout out to everyone listening. I see Steve-O Baby, Jay Cruisin, Peaceful Tim, Shift God,
Go Pistons.
Wilson, Bruce Bedrock. Who else do we have here?
Yeah,
Phil,
shout out the boys.
Theo. We got a whole squad.
Lorena Rios, always here, the away fan.
Yep,
Paul Thomas.
We've got a whole crew here. Appreciate you guys.
John F. and Lord, Freddie Felt, 313.
Let's have this conversation again here with the Jared Goff thing. We've talked about him on this show. It feels like once a week. Jalen, can we do another poll here for this segment? Let's just do this. Let's keep this simple. How much will you pay Jared Goff? Let's do 35.
Let's do 35.
Let's do 40, 45, 50. We'll just do 3.
55.
No 55.
Text that to me.
40, 45, and 50. That's
Just
it.
three?
Just three. How much will you pay Jared Goff? And that's per year. That's where I want to go with this conversation, because this is a situation to where the market's changed a lot because a guy like Daniel Jones-Broder, and he went out there and got a ton of money. Now people are looking at Jared Goff, who at times is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. At times, when he puts stats up, people are like, hey, he could be top 5. But then at times as well, he drops all the way down to the 15th best quarterback. And it's just like on and off. But to me, there's majority of the time it's on. The majority of the time it's top 10.
He's a top 10 quarterback
right now, the way you have him at what, 35 a year? Is that about
like 37?
30 maybe? Like cap hit? Let me see what his cap hit is. I have it pulled up here. I believe his cap hit right now this season is $30 million. 2023 cap hit $30 million. 2024 $31 million cap hit. When I look at that, I say this is fair for him because you can go pay guys. And Easy talks about this a lot. Guys talk about this a lot. A guy like Jared Goff, I'm sure he knows it, Broder. He needs dudes around him to be able to be great. He can't be Patrick Mahomes and move on from Tyreek Hill and still win a Super Bowl. Not Jared Goff. That is not what he's great at, not who he is. I'm sure he knows it. That's where this discussion comes into play, to where it's, does he know it? Does the team know it? And are they willing to do a deal to maybe it's just $40 million and you move on and walk away? 2 years, $80 million. 2 years, $75 million. That's where I'm kind of at with it, Broder, to where it's like $50 million is a lot, 45 is a lot, even 40 is a lot. If you go on Spot Track here, his market value, $38.8 million for his next contract, average annual salary. So there's something that's to be done here. I'm interested to see what they do this offseason. I know a lot of people are kind of high on Hendon Hooker, that he's going to be back practicing now. I think Hendon Hooker can be a great player, and I think he has the ceiling to do what we want him to do. To me, it's about the question factor.
Yeah.
He's not guaranteed to do that.
Right.
He's not guaranteed to give you what Jared Goff does. And that's where I'm at.
I think he does if you have the things right around him. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards Jared Goff in his game, but he thrives behind a really, really good offensive line, if not needing to be one of the best because he's so good at play action. He just needs that time. He's a very accurate quarterback. He's efficient, but he's not one who can make things happen under pressure. He's not very mobile. He's got decent pocket awareness. We didn't see it these last 2 weeks, but I have a lot of faith in Jared Goff if he's behind a fully complete, healthy offensive line, and that's a decision. Can you have that offensive line if he's making $50 million? If he's making 45? I don't know if you can. I would rather, this is just in general, trying to keep Goff out of it. I'd rather do whatever we can to build that offensive line as the best in the league and have that keep churning like it seems like they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then fill in your quarterback as you need. Maybe that is Jared Goff if you can get him cheap enough. Maybe that's Hendon Hooker. Maybe that's whoever the next quarterback is after Hendon Hooker. But I think I just love the concept of building the trenches. We need offensive linemen. We need defensive linemen. We need to be built kind of like the 49ers.
You have to
get your quarterback when the time is right.
And if he wants to stay and take less and you know you can win with him, then so be it. But two things real quick I want to kind of mention with this, Broder. One thing yesterday you mentioned, or the last time we spoke about Jared Goff, you mentioned Jared Goff. I think he's a veteran in the league, right? He is aware of the situation he's in. He's aware that he needs pieces around him, and he's very aware to where if he steps away from the Detroit Lions because of the money, and he's like, hey, I want to go get 50 more in New Orleans. I want to go get 50 in Tampa. I want to go get 50 in Las Vegas. He is very, very aware. I would hope, and people are telling him that, hey, if you go take that money, that's money away from your other. Like Tom Brady did it his whole career, taking less to win. Jared Goff to me is at that point to where it's, hey, you've made some money. It's time to do that Tom Brady strategy to where it's take a less on your cap hit, take less, restructure, figure a way out to where you can pay these guys. Patriots did it for so many years to where you can keep guys on these deals and still pay guys while your quarterback's not taken. Because Easy does have a great point at times. That 14% or 13% quarterback rule, I don't know if you ever heard this, but we talked about it a lot in the summer to where if you stay under that, almost every single Super Bowl winner, I think besides just Patrick Mahomes, their teams have had a quarterback cap hit under, I think, 13% on their team. And no one's gone over besides Patrick Mahomes, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Last comment here, Andrew Jones. We have him another year. Let's see him without Ben Johnson. I don't think that's a bad point. Take 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, hey, maybe we'll talk. We'll end these discussions this year, and next year we'll talk about this at the end of the season. Let's see without Ben Johnson. Let's see what you can do there, and then if you're still good without a Ben Johnson and Tanner maybe fills in or whoever fills in, then maybe we'll extend you and we'll give you $35-40 million.
Yeah, $50 million is a little too rich for my blood. Like, $50 million limits you from being able to do so many things, and we've seen this defense. We need more stars on the defense as well to go along with that offensive line, Broder. It can't just be the guys that you draft. You have to pick up a couple crucial free agents, I believe, to fill this team out. And if you're paying Goff the $50 million, you cannot do that. I would not pay him $50 million, and we do have him signed next year and the ability to franchise him.
Yeah.
After that, we're in a good position where we're not going to be we're not going to have to pay him this $50 million or he's walking. We have the control over Jared Goff right here. So big second last 6 games incoming for Goff if he does want to get that contract extension.
I see Nicholas Duncan in the chat. Goff won't win a Super Bowl. He is a bridge only. I disagree.
Damn, like that, bro.
I disagree with that.
Pay that man.
Yeah, I disagree. He's not a bridge court. He's been to a Super Bowl. He almost broke the NFL record for most pass attempts without an interception. He's 16 and 5 in the last 21 games.
He's a stud.
He's not a bridge quarterback, but when it comes to money, and this is, I think, the argument that Easy and these guys always have, is when it does come to money, when you're trying to keep your other guys happy and sign other guys, when you draft very well, it's hard to pay everyone. So
I agree with that. And on the Goff topic, and then we're getting a break, I agree with that strategy for the whole team building, but also in this situation as the quarterback, the player, he needs those other pieces. He needs that offensive line for him to be the most successful. Great. So it's an added element.
I think there's a lot of self-awareness to it.
Yeah.
A lot of self-awareness.
I would try to just get a contract loaded with incentives.
Which I don't hate.
Yeah.
Because then the bonuses.
Yeah.
Cash.
That's straight cash, homie.
Yep, straight cash, homie. All right, come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. That is Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome. Mailbag when we come back, too, by the way.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market. It's in Shed 5, and it's a bash. Starts at 9:30 a.m. up until game time. We got food. We got drinks. We got entertainment. It's all included. You just got to buy your ticket at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Let's go.
All right, welcome back. Woodward Nights, baby, with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, YouTube channel, woodwardsports.com, wherever you guys are watching it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. and hit that like button for us. We're 9 likes away from 100. Let's get over 100 here. Beat out the heavies. I think the heavies are at like 103 the last time I checked. So let's beat the heavies out here. First mailbag, Phil. What happened to Bugs, Broder?
Bugs is the most puzzling situation.
What's going on with this man Isaiah Bugs?
I know, it's very odd. Illness, healthy scratches, surprise healthy scratches to start the season. I don't know. Every time I've seen him in the locker room, since that first, it was like the day before, 2 days before the first game where he gave his little impromptu press conference.
Yes.
Where that was the only like weird moment of the season for the Lions. I don't know. I'm going to do some digging tomorrow.
I would love to know what's going on with that. Another one, real quick, this one. This is not really a question, but Theo said Lions should get Jalen Johnson from the Bears. The announcer said his contract is up after this year. Dude was all over the field versus Minnesota. Real quick on that, too. That's one thing we haven't looked at with Brad Holmes. It's like he's broad, like we haven't talked about this much. We keep talking about draft picks, re-signing guys. Remember what Brad Holmes did last year?
David Montgomery.
Not just David Montgomery.
The Vikings?
David Montgomery, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley. Brad Holmes does work in free agency, and he's proven that last year. So don't be surprised if he goes after some guys.
He got a guy that was coming off an ACL who ruptured his other ACL?
Mosley?
Yeah. So, and then CJ played in, 3-4 games?
Are you trying to say that's a bad signing?
No, I'm just saying the guys that he brought in weren't able to stay healthy on this defensive side of the ball, and that's maybe why our defense is doing so poorly right now.
See, that's why I'm gonna disagree. I agree with Emmanuel Mosley getting a guy that came off an ACL, yes, but bringing in David Montgomery, that's a pretty big piece, right?
Yeah,
C.J. Gardner-Johnson, no one knew. He wasn't like a huge injury-prone guy. He was never. You're not going to sit there and know that he's going to tear his pec week 2, right? That's one of the best safeties in the NFL.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little pissed off about the corner spot.
I get what you're saying with the corner, but like if you really look at it, Brad Holmes went out. When I got that alert for David Montgomery, I was on the highway and pulled over off an exit and had to do a social post. I was extremely pumped. When C.J. Gardner-Johnson got signed, that was one of the biggest signings in the NFL in the offseason, and Brad Holmes brought him in. So Brad Holmes, I think, Theo, to your point, I think outside of drafting and re-signing guys, you're going to see him go out there and he has money to work with this offseason. He will go out there and make moves, unlike Troy Weaver.
CJ missed 5 games last year and 5 games the year before.
And what did he do last year, though, in the NFL? Led the league in interceptions?
INTs.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was some injury history.
There was
some injury history.
You got to look at it to the point to where he got one of the best safeties in the NFL.
Yeah, it was a calculated risk. We need him back.
And that was a huge get from him. That gives you faith that Brad Holmes can go out and get some talent in free agency. And the Detroit is right now, it's a spot people want to be.
Yeah. IT Hips, mailbag. Do you think it's possible that AG all of a sudden just starts throwing different blitz packages since the defense hasn't shown any signs of life in the last 3 games?
Been waiting for it.
There's some angst in that question. I can feel it. There's some frustration with that defense. I think so. I think this is one I don't know if show-off's the right word, but he wants to have his best game of the year in New Orleans. So I think we should expect some creativity. I hope so. I freaking hope so.
Corbin, mailbag. Will Rodrigo score a touchdown this season? We've talked about this, and he's not on the sports book to do it. But
I give it like a 5% chance. Maybe Ben Johnson would do something like that.
In the red, you're at the one.
Yeah, I don't want to try. I don't want to try to tackle Rodrigo.
Because at the end of the day, Lions aren't going to do the tush push with Jared Goff. I'm not saying they're going to do it with Rodrigo, but I'm saying
Rodrigo was the tush pusher.
You have David Montgomery though in the back, and then Rodrigo is the fullback. At one point, they're just going to, instead of just giving it to David, they're going to be like, boop, Rodrigo, 1 yard run, touchdown.
I think, do you guys know the Kansas City play, how they shovel it to Kelsey in the backfield? I could see him doing something like that with Rodrigo. I'm calling my shot.
He had a nice catch the other day.
Yeah,
that was a nice diving catch.
Huge catch, yeah.
How about this? The away fan, mailbag. What was the first CD each of you bought? Or remember owning as a kid, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
First
His
CD,
was the Backstreet Boys, by the way. Millennium still have it, still listen to it. That's classic.
First CD I ever got
I want it that way
growing up was Confessions by Usher.
What you did there? That's great.
That's a good
Part 1? What the fuck? These are my confessions.
Somebody broke my car antenna, so I had 2 CDs in the car. They were 2 all-time legends, and it was all-time great. Tom Petty, Greatest Hits, and also Curtain Call, Greatest Hits.
Love it.
Eminem, shout out.
That's why me and Nick are you on the Boot Boys. So my first album was Encore That was
Let's Go.
That was Encore, the Eminem album. Mom got it, I think, at the store like 2 blocks away from the house.
Yeah, I had those two on the repeat in my car at all times. I had like every song memorized for both.
Confessions is crazy, Booner.
That's a good one.
That's
What?
fucking wild.
That's some good
That's
wax.
not a good one?
Hey, boys.
It just shocked me, bro. That song.
It's a great one. I was young, too. When did that come out?
Like 04, I think it was.
Yeah, I was 7 years
When
old.
he was young,
Got my
Usher.
first CD at 7 years old.
Boys, want to shout out the Detroit Red Wings real quick for that Patrick Kane trade. They are now officially minus 102 to make the playoffs for the first time all year.
That reminds me, too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw that he will be wearing 88.
That's sick.
Is the Wing Wheel podcast, are they legit?
Yes.
Do they get
they
legit
are very
information?
legit.
And that's what Sprong has?
I saw them tweet out that said that whoever had 88 was willing to give it up, and then they also said that he might be getting like a Rolex or something.
That's what we were talking about last night.
Yeah, I think I don't know if that's confirmed. I guess we have to wait to find out until the first game he plays, or kind of when they do like pictures and stuff. But I did see that on Twitter. I know we spoke about that. Let's do one or two more here real quick.
Also, Big Willie style, Miami, or Will Smith with the song Miami on it, getting jiggy with it. That was my first one. My mom actually took it from me because it had one swear word in it. Sorry, Mom.
Flint Town CJ said, "Did you honestly expect the defense to improve with Sutton and 2 rookies?" I don't think improved this year. I do think with the injuries, that isn't it. Like Nick said, that wasn't it. You're not expecting C.J. Gardner-Johnson to get hurt. You're not expecting Emmanuel Mosley to go out there and tear his ACL, his other ACL.
If Jerry Jacobs is your number 3, that's a hell of a room.
Yeah, and I think
your number 2.
Brad did do a really good job at bringing in the right guys. I think it just didn't work out, and that happens in the NFL. That's the thing. Last thing, Peaceful Tim. Did Anzalone break his wrist punching a wall after the loss? I think he actually got hurt on the field.
It was on the field. But there was an interesting conspiracy earlier. I think it was Bruce Bedrock and was it Steve Lehman? Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. But could Jonah Jackson be holding out like mid-season? Like this is a workaround.
not think of that.
And you go back to Dan Campbell's comments in the press conference. It was a little like when Jonah Jackson tells me he can play. Like, I'm not saying he did, but they put it in my head, and I don't know.
Can you ask that question?
I don't know.
I think you should ask that question at the press conference.
How would you phrase it?
Hey, just with Jonah Jackson, is it an injury issue, or is it more so of a contract issue, or what's going on?
Just be very
just
casual.
say, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's all I would do. I would ask John Macroon. I would ask maybe a couple guys, like, hey, I'm going to ask this question. Is this a bad question? Because you don't want Dan to be like, what?
Right.
You don't want to start like a brawl.
We need, as beat writers, reporters, we need to ask the tough questions.
You have to ask tough questions.
But we also have to build the relationship. It's tricky.
I would talk with John about that.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I know it might be a conspiracy, but if a beat report, if you think of that, or if someone says that, that's a great thing. All right, we're out. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Woodward Nights on a Tuesday night, random night, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. Real quick announcement as well. There will be no show on Friday. We found out. We did not know we just found out of nowhere on Monday. We really we truly apologize. We want to put on a show for you guys on Friday. We love you guys. We hate taking days off, especially when we can bring on content for you guys and have a nice night. Pisses us off a little bit as well, but we love you guys. We will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights, baby. Love you guys.